Unus Annus. Not the channel that we all got to know and love over a year, but the general Latin saying of a year. It's already been a year since my dad passed away, so I just wanted to make a different kind of video. I know it's a Friday, I know it's usually a slot for Red Dead and for Fallout 4. Just been very lazy to do the long forms the past 2 weeks, so I do apologize. Didn't really feel like making a post about it, didn't feel like explaining myself, but here you go. With that out of the way though, poured a cold one from our old man. In his later years, obviously, with all of the health issues that surrounded him, he didn't get to enjoy the more lavish things in life anymore. But he still tried. He always enjoyed a big ol' piece of lechon kawali. He always enjoyed some kare-kare. He always enjoyed a whiskey or a brandy, maybe a glass or two. By my supervision or by my mom's supervision or both of ours, just being with him and enjoying company with each other as a family. It didn't really dawn on me till today, honestly, because as it was happening last year, it really went by really fast because I don't remember how much I talked about it in my Eyes Deceive Me video. I went a little bit in depth in regards to the passing of my dad. First time I got really personal with all y'all. And I love the response from that video. Thank you all so much. But during this time last year, it was the time of Father's Day. I don't know if it was super international or just in the Philippines, but we were celebrating Father's Day here. Such a weird difference time can have on all of us. Where a year ago, 2022, there goes my cat. It was fine and dandy. We're enjoying Father's Day at home, still on the latter end of the effects of the lockdown of the pandemic, but we were finally able to deliver some food. We were finally able to try and celebrate it as normal as we could, and we were able to do so. Fast forward to a year later, now a year before, he was in the hospital for Father's Day. It was a Sunday. I went to a church service of mine, seeing everyone there with their father, celebrating it happily, getting their tokens, and I was able to get my dad's token. It was like a neck pillow, the thing that you usually get for yourselves when you travel, and showed it to him. I showed some of the letters that the Sunday school kids did, gave it to him, but that was at the time that he was resting. It was not during a time of his where he was conscious enough to be able to talk back, because it happened in stages. He was fine, it was somewhat routine. We thought he was going to be coming home again, until it wasn't, until he stayed, became less responsive, became less talkative, until he was super bedridden. And the last time I got to see my dad alive, I would like to say was 2 or 3 days before today, the day that I'm uploading this, the day that he passed a year ago. And his eyes were closed, all the tubes were in him, in his nose, the IV stuff as well. And I really tried to keep my emotions very centered, very at bay, because I didn't really want to be super emotional in front of my family. But what I was able to muster, besides just sitting next to him, besides just telling him stories about what I was going through at school at the time, was that I loved him. And I did not get to visit him on Father's Day. I was busy with something else at that time. So I visited him a week ago, I'd like to say. It was definitely a Saturday, if I remember correctly. I'm recording this Thursday night, so As you know, I've been very bad with dates, and with everything that's happened recently, it doesn't really help matters. But really be like that. As you grow a little older, you get a little more forgetful and all of that good stuff. But with everything that we went through, all the ups and downs, all the personal things, the time that he had to move out, the time that he came back in, the pandemic, the time where I don't know if I can say this. There was a time where I was very angry at him, not only for how he treated me beforehand when I was younger, but because of how somewhat selfish he was. Didn't want to really go through all of the treatments anymore. Didn't really want to do much in the way of assuring or reassuring me and my mother that he was going to be fine and all that stuff. So for the longest time, there was a bit of resentment there. And there were a lot of things that I saw differently before he passed. And I might go into it someday, but not today. Today is a day of memorial. Today is a day of looking back and trying to cool this one. This isn't really his brand. This is like a brand that my friend got me on. Don't know if you can see it. Kirin Ichiban, Japan's prime wheat brew. Not really wheat, malt. There you go. And as much as I've been getting into alcohol, as much as I have been joking that I've become an alcoholic, I don't know the ins and outs of beer, IPAs, stuff like that. I'm still learning. Still trying to gather all of that into my head. It's not really a passion, but it's something that I definitely have an interest in. You're so loud. I told you. Something a little bit of cutie, I guess. Let me show you him, because he's being a little ornery lad. Roar. He's licking up a storm over there. Him and my dad were best frenemies. Because up until I brought Cutie home a few years ago, he was very much so just a dog person. Just a dog dad. I grew up with a bunch of dogs. Didn't really see cat that much in my neighborhood or anything like that. So when I finally got into cats, when I was gifted Cutie, that was really like his first real exposure, I would like to think. Because there were times that he was really angry, really pissed at Cutie. There were also times where they were playing with each other, where he was sitting in my dad's lap and all that stuff, and just bonding each other. It's funny, really, just looking back at that. This dude right here, bonding with a big boy. There was a time as well when the funeral service was going on. I don't know how it is in your country, but for me, you usually either held the funeral service at your own house or at a funeral parlor. For my dad, for my grandmother, and for some other relatives of ours, we held it here in the living room of our house. And the spot where the couches are usually, that's where the casket was set up. And what Cutie would do is he would not walk in front where the flowers are and everything, or on the carpet or anything. He'd walk behind. He'd try to get and feel more of my dad, I suppose. That's how we saw it anyway. He really liked to stay home at that time as well. He didn't really go out much or anything like that. He would stay with my mom or stay with both of us downstairs if we were watching over the thing and whatnot. And yeah. So, just wanted to do a little thing. It's obviously very serious, it's very personal, but wanted to get this out, obviously. Memento Mori, Unus Annus. And yeah. Is he done? Love you.